Right.
We'll call the meeting to order. Callie, if you'll take roll call.
Peter Boyer, Mayor.
Present.
Stephen Clark, Council.
Present.
Tyler Martin, Council.
Present.
Ficken, Council.
Present.
Dan Sabrowski, Council.
Present. Everyone rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Here.
I would entertain a motion to approve the minutes of August 19th, 2025.
Move. Second.
Motion and second. Tim?
I'll recuse myself from being here.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Entertain a motion to approve the payables list for September 2nd, 2025.
So moved. Second.
Motion and second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Got ahead of myself. Entertain a motion to approve the payables list for August 2025 as noted in the agenda.
Move. Second.
Motion and second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Mr. Holscher, you have the floor, sir.
Mayor and council, you have my report. I think covered everything that presently in front of me. There's no resolutions or ordinances for consideration tonight, so unless there's any questions, I'll leave it at that.
I do not really have anything. Does council have anything for Mr. Holscher?
Read it, spoke to him. Good.
That was easy. All right. Guess we'll move on. Ray, you have the floor, sir.
Mr. Mayor, we're just working on some minor things, still working on the concrete issue on the one section of town. Also looking at potential pedestrian safety measures in another area, and then some potential property line questions. I don't even know how to classify that one, but other than that, nothing to report.
Right. I see I put it on the agenda, and that's funny enough because I don't actually remember putting it on the agenda. But the speed table on Tonka, I guess we can just go ahead and talk about it right now. You went and looked up there.
Yes. So originally, it's been probably 5 or 6 years ago, we had discussed putting a speed table right at the park. Not on Tonkawa right there, not at Zuni, but down there where the pathway crosses. We'd talked about putting a speed table there just for pedestrian visibility and safety. And as I looked at it, I think that would be a good location, or you could go a little bit farther north. You know, there is the 4-way stop or 3-way stop. I guess it's 4-way. A little bit farther north, but you know, somewhere from the park north would be a prime location to put something like that if that's what council was interested in doing.
The resident who contacted me lived on Zuni, and so I was kind of more thinking of that area because the stop sign doesn't seem to stop people as well as it should. So we were kind of thinking, my thinking was, and I'm open to discussion on it. My thinking is to do something up in that area and hopefully slow the cars down. I guess the resident who contacted me said there was a group of them that they had been watching and basically seeing that people were just blowing through the stop sign or not barely even slowing down. So something to kind of get people to slow down there and, you know, not
That the
run over a kid.
stop sign on Sioux?
No.
The one everyone.
Zuni.
You're talking about Tonkawa, right?
Tonkawa.
Out of town.
Tonkawa. Okay.
Tonka ones are-
Yeah, not
Yep.
Nance first.
So very, very northmost 2 streets of town. So
I will create a couple different options and ideas for that particular intersection, and then we can look at a few different things at the next council meeting. I think there's quite a few different things you can do, particularly right there. So we'll look
Maybe a
at,
speed ramp.
we'll cut the road down and then people have to jump it.
I like it.
It'd be really nice.
Really make everyone mad and put in a roundabout.
that person. Let's do it wrong the first time.
Looks like Coleman Circle.
Right on. That's all I had for you, Ray. Anything for Ray?
Yep.
Yep, go ahead.
Would it be possible to, at the end of each walking path, there's fences that go right to the sidewalk? So it's hard to see, like, if kids could run out right past the fence. Would there be a way to do like a crossing sign that has a little solar thing with some lights around it, kind of like the stop signs down on Antelope right by here, how they're lit up? Because
24/7.
no, where it's just got lights around the sign. That's a crosswalk sign, because I think if speed tables are useful anywhere, it's at everywhere there's a crosswalk. So it's where kids are going to go across on their bikes. They're not going to stop sometimes to think, and there's a fence right to that sidewalk. And that one on Tonkawa, there's no park right there, so people tend to go by pretty fast right there. But if there's at least something that had some lights that would remind them that people may be coming out from behind that fence, and then down at the park, the same thing. I don't know how expensive those would be, but just those two spots, because you've got a crosswalk, a raised one on the walking path down by the mailboxes further up McMurray. So that slows people down anyway. So that's a great place for people to cross when they're on that walking path, but it's the only place of the whole walking path that has that.
Yep, I will look into that as well.
Thanks.
Yes, sir.
Oh, and thanks for fixing the lights on it, by the way. We'll get to you in a minute, yes.
Perfect. Anything else for Ray? No? Right on. All right, Ray, thank you.
You're welcome.
Dustin, you're up now.
Mayor, council, you have my report. Just a couple things to add. I didn't put in it, but Tim had called me a couple weeks ago. All the lights along that walking path were out. And it turns out we got an electrician, Atlantic Electric. Apparently the lightning strike knocked out every light has a fuse in it in the pole. And it was all the fuses all the way down. Burned out.
Whole west end from.
Yeah, except for the few at near Tonkawa were the only ones. that didn't. So anyway, so that's,
They're lit.
yeah, they're up now. So anyway, that was that. And then a little amendment to my report. Today I got the paint truck working again. There's gremlins in it. There's still electrical gremlins in it. So we were spraying water in all areas it was supposed to spray. And so next step is to take it out and do some training with water. Not
Water and
paint.
electricity doesn't go well together.
So, yeah, well,
Luckily, it's hydraulics.
there's hydraulic, there's a hydraulic system, there's an air system, there's an electrical system. There's a high pressure paint system, 3 of them.
Might fall
Anyway.
around with a fire truck in case the thing catches fire.
Right, yeah, well, you have a nice big extinguisher back there in the cab.
You're eating the elephant. It's getting done.
Oh, yes, sir. So that's the latest update on the paint.
Perfect.
And that, I have nothing more to add.
Do you have, did you include that email? Do you remember me asking you about that?
Yes, sir, it's in the report. I attached it.
Where is it?
It'd be the
Right
first
after
page.
his report.
Right, it's on a separate page, kind of after.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
report. So
I didn't flip far enough. Thank you.
the email, that's the reply from Mr. Hagan.
So just for information, because I know we've been asked multiple times about the paint truck now. YDOT doesn't do our paint striping anymore. They stopped doing that service. I think it was last year. And county won't do our paint striping. Called and contacted them about it. And so I'm going to read you what Mr. Hagler sent back to us. It says, wait. Oh, there it is right there. Okay. Hi, Dustin. I'm sorry, but with all the roads the county has and the roads we do for Evansville and Mills. We just don't have the time or the manpower to provide any additional service to anyone. We have helped build fire lines around your town in the past, and we have helped plow snow, but we are stretched pretty thin during the summer and fall. I only have 11 operators to take care of the 800 miles of road, bridges, culverts, pave, mag roads, etc. So we have two options basically left to us. Is one, we can pay for it through Superior Signs, or we do it ourselves. So currently we are working on getting our paint truck working up to the highest order, and then we will be doing it ourselves. So that is the current plan. That's what we're rolling with, and hope that resolves a lot of questions about what's going on. And so during just, in between discussions between Dustin and I, during the winter time when we're not going to be paint striping, because you can't, obviously, we will be doing more maintenance on the truck to get it up to where we want it to be at, so that it is a well-oiled machine. So, anyway, just wanted everyone to know about that, and that we are currently working on the issue. So, there was something else I wanted to talk to you about, wasn't there, Dustin? I don't remember.
Don't remember anything, so
Okay.
that's it.
Oh, if I think of it, we'll come back to you. Anyway, anything for Dustin?
Quick one.
Yeah.
The company that has the porta potty at the park, is there a way to call them and see if they can swap it out or hose it out? It smells horrendous. And when we walk by it every night on our walk, yeah. I'm surprised it's lasted this long because the kids enjoy beating on it, but maybe
You talking about the one
they won't go in it.
up on High Plains Park by Nez Perce? I'll call him tomorrow.
Appreciate it.
Anything else? All right, moving on. Sonny.
Mayor, council, you guys have my written report. Just a couple of things to add from that. Matt Potter and Drew Gibson came back from California. Their task books were approved by the state. So they are done with their firefighter type 1 task book.
Nice.
So they're qualified as that. Matt Potter does have all of his classes done for Engine Boss. So his task book for Engine Boss is now open as well. And he was out in California with his Engine Boss task book open currently. The other item I have, Mr. Krim has our new bunker coat. The pants are going to be similar to it, but this is the new bunker stuff that we went through. I had different vendors come in. The guys actually tried those on and then went through some demonstration processes. So this is Lion Gear. They actually have ISO-Dry technology, which is patented by them. Basically, it allows us to get less waterlogging on our bunkers. So with the bunker and the SCBAs, we add about 100 pounds of weight to the body while we're working. With the current turnouts that they have, those turnouts will absorb 7 to 10 pounds of water, which of course will decrease our working time due to fatigue. So the goal with going to these are to decrease that fatigue over time working. Any questions?
Sweet. They look good, man.
I like it. I like it.
They look nice.
And the black is just so, like, they wash their stuff after every call, but even on the TBI gold yellow turnouts, as soon as you get into one fire with soot, they're dirty all the time. They look dirty all the time, but they're not. So that's why we went with black.
Right on, man.
Smart.
I like it. Anything for Chief? Nothing? Well, I was easy.
I got one.
Okay,
Sorry.
go ahead, man.
They think the truck's gonna have inspection January 2026, even though it hasn't hit the assembly line yet. That Rosenbauer thing.
Yes.
They think they're
It has not been line set, but they're still saying they're on target for January 26th.
okay. That's ambitious. Cool.
For them,
Check the bolts when we get it.
hey, we're still just waiting.
Right. Okay.
Right on. All right, thanks, Sonny. Got your report, Callie. Anything of note?
Not really, other than we're currently trying to update contact records for all of our water customers.
I submitted.
Right on. How's that going?
At last check, we had over 350, which has been awesome because every single person that submitted needed some sort of an update on their account. So hopefully we can get some more.
Awesome. Good news. Hope they continue to. Anything for Kelly?
I had one.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think I'm not aware of this, but I've had some people ask me about an updated zoning map for the website that the one,
Posted the 2019 one up to
okay,
date. That is our most current approved by council zoning.
okay, cool. I had a couple of people ask me about that and I said, yeah, absolutely. I'll talk to Callie and we'll get it up there.
Even realized that the old one was still up.
Yeah, well, that's what I explained was that we just launched a new website. It probably just was an oversight. So yeah, we've had a lot going on. So thank you. Appreciate you getting that up there. Awesome.
Good. Anyone else? All right. Mr. Clark, you have the floor, sir.
All right, so thank the mayor for putting this on the agenda. We had last work session. We met about rezoning some things. And so we were told in public comment that you guys weren't able to hear us. So I figured we'd throw this on the agenda so we could do a quick recap. And so you can know what we were talking about. So you know kind of what's up and coming from that. And to kind of hopefully quell any fears about anything out north with what we were talking about. And so I want to make sure that we are as transparent as possible for you guys and that we're not having meetings that you can't hear and whatnot. So just know in the future work sessions we're going to do everything we can so you guys can hear us. If we have something out on a table, you'll be able to see it as best we can. We're used to having like 2 people at work sessions. So work with us as much as possible. Let us know if you can't hear something, but just to go through it real quick. What we're talking about doing is out in this northern area here. So here's Westlands, this top road. And so this is here's the interchange as you come in. And so in the future, we're probably going to have something go up north, whether it be Radiant or something different. We're probably going to have infrastructure get put in through here. So we as council want to plan ahead and kind of future-proof the area for the town. And so we have what we want there rather than get what we get when it comes to that. So right now, a lot of it's zoned as light industrial and industrial, which can be pipe yards and mobile homes. There's some areas for mobile homes and multi-family dwellings like high-rise apartment complexes. And so we're wanting to rezone it for what the town is, more residences, business zoning. So as you come into town from the north, it's more beautiful. You see businesses and residences rather than industrial parks and stuff like that. And so that's all we were talking about. We really didn't get a whole lot done because we found out we need to figure out some more definitions of what our zoning areas are. If I'm correct, I got a lot smarter people around me to help correct me. So that way, when we meet again, we can know exactly what each zoning description is and what we're going to zone it to. We have Mr. McMurray there because he owns all of this, and we have to have the landowners, input and permission to do these changes. So we want to work directly with him so we can get a good idea of what he's wanting, what he's able to do in that area, and what will work best for him as well. So we're going to continue that. Our next work session, is it going to be next meeting? So we're going to do another work session next meeting. And that's all it's going to be about. You're welcome to come. If we have a big audience, we'll make sure everybody can hear. But that's pretty much it as far as the zoning goes. And just so you know, none of this is new. Like I've been on council for a lot of years, and I've been wanting to rezone out north to try to prevent some of this as well for years. So we actually had this planned over mid last year to have this meeting, and then things got busy and it got pushed and pushed. So that's what it'll be about next meeting. Next work session, we'll go over more of that. And you can get a better idea of what we got going on with the zoning. But again, we want to make sure you guys know what's going on. We want to be transparent. We want you to know that we hear you. And, we can correct things that were incorrect and kind of move forward from there.
Right on. Thank you. Tyler?
Yeah. I asked the mayor if I could take some time just to chat with you and share my heart. I've missed you. It's good to see your faces. As you know, I've primarily been joining on Zoom as I've been in Salt Lake a lot. My wife is there now. We'll be joining her tomorrow. Once this meeting's over, we'll be heading out that way. I just want to share my heart. And yeah, you can't get a refund on your time here. I'll probably take 5 to 10 minutes. I just love this town a lot and wanted to share some thoughts. Yeah, with everything going on, I just wanted to state I'm proud to be a member of council. I'm proud to be here to serve you, and had some really good conversations over the last couple of weeks with mayor, with people on council, and yeah, we do hear you. Recognize that this is categorically the largest project that bar none has ever faced. We recognize that. I'd say apart from, back in 2000 when they began developing and added on the new bar none. So, yeah, I just want to say that, if we could do this all over again in 6 months from now, could there be things that we maybe say differently, communicate differently, X, Y, and Z? Yeah, I think that we do that because we've recognized that some of you feel like you're not being heard. And I love Councilman Clark, had some great talks with him this week about how can we make sure that we pass on your voice to the county commissioners and things of that sort. So anyways, this whole deal is pretty complex. And it's complex to know where people stand. As I see it, there's pretty much 4 camps. There's very informed, very against it, very informed, very for it. Then there's don't care, positive, and then there's don't care, negative. And I got to have some phenomenal conversations with people that are in the very informed against it over the last 2 weeks. Had a 2-hour meeting with a family that's here right now. And I was able to come away with a greater respect and understanding of where they're coming from. And I believe that they came away with an understanding and a respect of where I'm coming from. And as due diligence, I gave them my word that I would make a lot of phone calls and talk to a lot of people. And I don't know if 34 is a lot, but it's as much as I could pull off in the last 2 weeks. And I heard a lot of conversations about people saying, if I had to vote, I'd be against it. But I'm pro-nuclear. I'm not worried. And I don't have a problem with waste. I don't want it a mile from town. So thank you so much. That helps me know where our town stands and what kind of work we can do for it. If that doesn't necessitate a complexity to you, then I guess we just disagree on what a complexity is. Because someone who's pro-nuclear, pro this company, pro them being in Wyoming, and some had issues with storage, some didn't, but everyone's issue with storage that I spoke to, and I've still got many more conversations to do. And if you're here tonight and I would love to talk to you genuinely. I'm proud to serve as the chaplain for our fire department. And I messaged every single one of them. And I was able to have many conversations about where our fire department stands. That was an honor to get to hear where you guys were. So all that to say is, to me, I feel like it's a complex situation. And one thing I've heard the most has been the people are for this or the people are against it. So do what we're asking you. And that in lies the complexity. Is there some that are against, some that are for, and some that are all across the board? And we're genuinely trying to hear you. So this week's been great. I've got to have a phenomenal conversation with you, Bill Alleman, today. I'm grateful for that. Thank you for the time. I got to have a great conversation with Matt Wilson from Radiant, and I feel a burden to help you be able to be a part of some of these conversations that I'm able to have pretty easily. I recognize not all of you can just call up certain people. And so I feel like we have a responsibility, and Bill and I have talked, and Matt and I are going to be doing a podcast together next week. So if you have questions you want me to ask Matt Wilson, I'd love to ask him those questions. Me, Bill, and Matt are all, I did talk to Matt after I talked to you. Me, Bill, and Matt are all going to sit down probably in the coming month and do a debate together. I'll get to moderate. I'll get to be Megyn Kelly to Trump and Biden. And so,
You're too good.
that hurts, Bill. But effectively, what I wanted is I've missed you. I've been here, but I haven't been in person. My heart is to try and get information to you so that you can understand. As I had many conversations, there was a lot of questions that wanted clarification. My hope with my conversations with Bill, with Matt Wilson, is to be able to provide some of that information for you. Okay, we're halfway there. Hang in. If you're asleep, wake up. This might put you back to sleep. One of the reasons that the council is, I don't want to speak for everyone, I'll speak for myself. One of the reasons that I'm not completely against this, I'd like to say that I'm neutral leaning positive, is we really do care about this town. Everyone's going to have differing opinions on what that means. But as I had a phenomenal conversation with one of our firefighters, sorry that I pointed towards you, one of those guys over there. I just shared, they said there's zero benefit, sorry, that's a misrepresentation. What's the benefit to the town? I said, well, it's complicated. As you said, somebody eventually is going to probably buy that property up there, and they're going to put in infrastructure. When someone puts in $50 to $100 million, I'm taking a guess here, of infrastructure, that then we get to annex that property, and then we might get to annex more property, which is why we're working with, that's why we were working on some of that zoning, not because of Radiant. We planned that meeting over a year ago. Is that when growth takes place, we want to be ready for it. And Bar None will never be more than 5,000 people. So we can grow and grow and grow. It's never going to, we don't have enough growth boundary to get to a big city. I've heard people say, I don't ever want to be a big city. And I've also heard I don't want to grow, which is funny because they're living in a new house that was built in the new development, which is ironic. I'm almost done. But if a company comes in, puts in all that infrastructure, that gives us the opportunity to go to the dance and do some things for the town that we would love to see, that we could rezone. And instead of industrial companies coming in, we could have local companies with our heart and our DNA of this town come in. How we get there is going to be through a lot of hard conversations and hearing one another out. But we've got to get to that point. And that's where I want to end, is we are committed as a council of making sure that you feel heard, making sure that we have honest, productive conversations with you. But I just want to say, and again, I'm not speaking for the whole council, I'm speaking as Tyler Martin. I've really enjoyed listening to some of you. Very passionate, very informed, really care about this town. So do we. Let's keep having productive conversations. If Representative Bill Almond and Matt Wilson can sit down next week and have a productive conversation, well, then we can all have productive conversations. And I think all of us are a little tired of not getting where we want to go. And I know that some people feel like you're not being heard. We're trying to demonstrate that we are hearing you, and that we're going to be diligent to do our best to represent you well as a town. But I hope you recognize it's a complex situation. And then on our end, I'll just say it's wild and crazy. When you love a town and then out of left field, someone makes an accusation about making unethical, backdoor, deceptive deals. That's crazy. If we were a part of backdoor deals, we did a bad job of letting you find out about it. And I'm not speaking to everyone here, but Man, call me soft, call me weak. I don't know. I love this town with all of my heart. And I know this council does. I think all of us can agree we've missed the mark somewhere along the way and we've lost productivity. So our commitment, my commitment, our commitment is to really make sure that you know that you're heard and we do care. And I'm asking if we can have a return to some civility and respectful discourse. Again, it's crazy to sit here and have people that I know in this town spread rumors about me being unethical. That's wild and hurtful. And so I know that the hurt is felt on both sides. My plea is that we would come back to being neighbors. We can disagree, but we can work together and we can have some productive conversations. Anyways, many of you will probably hope I go back to Zoom and I don't keep talking and giving rants like this, but thank you for letting me share my heart. Thank you, Mayor. I appreciate it.
Sure. Thank you. Before we open up petitions of public comment, there is something that needs to be addressed. Last time we had members of the public that were shouting down other people who were at the podium. That doesn't happen again. We'll shut down public comment. That's unacceptable. If you disagree, that's fine. You can go out in the hallway and you can have a lively discussion about it, or out in the parking lot or whatever, but not in here. So that's the one warning. And I'm not going to give another. So public comment is for the public to come up and speak. If you don't want to honor those rules, we'll just shut it down. And so we can, no, you cannot. So those are the rules. Abide by them, or we don't get this. This is a privilege that we don't get anymore. With that,
It's all right.
it is not, okay. This is what I'm talking about.
So shut up. That's the whole point.
I want you to have your voice heard, but if you don't do it respectfully, it gets shut down. And no, it is not a right. It is something that the council has the choice of to do or not to do by state law. We do it because we want to hear your voice. So obey the rules, be polite, be respectful, and your voice is heard. Shout down someone else, it gets shut down. That is the rule. Does everyone understand? I'm glad you do. Public petitions and public comment is open. We're dividing it into two sections. The first one is for general public comment. If you want to talk about your neighbor's grass, or you don't like how the streets are paved, or a street striper, please come up and talk about that. If you want to talk about nuclear is after that. Does everybody understand? Okay, cool. We're on the same page. General public petitions and public comment are open. If you would like to speak about anything not related to the nuclear industry, please come up and speak.
It's a better, you guys like I do commissioners. Yeah, my first question was, you were talking about apartment complexes and trying to make it into like a metropolis. And you said yourself that this is gonna be 5,000 people, probably not.
I never said 5,000. Sorry, continue.
It's okay, I was just clarifying. Secondly, I was kind of curious about what rules you guys run by. Is it Robert's Rules of Procedure kind of modified, or is it your whole different?
I would say it's Robert's rules kind of modified. I mean, we can run by Robert's rules, but there would be no back and forth. There would be no engagement with us. You would literally stand up there. You would say your piece. Even if you had a question, we would just stare at you.
Right.
And then you would sit down. So we kind of modify it so that we can engage with the community a little bit.
Okay, well, and secondly on that, because like with our county commissioners, they were shutting people down at 3 minutes, and we finally got them back to 5. And the reason I did that was because in 3 minutes, nobody could complete it by, and they really needed that 5 minutes to do that And we're still bantering about the fact of giving your, say, you know, because there's so many people here tonight, you'll have to stick to your 5 minutes. But if somebody in here wanted to let someone else run on because they're on a good subject and they're doing something, you can give your 5 minutes to them. And the person can continue to talk, but it's only allowed up to like 3 times. But that's usually done when there's not a room full of people. You know, there's only 3 or 4 people talking and stuff like that. So the 5-minute rule kind of gets shoved aside to let that person handle what 3 or 4 people, I guess they're representing those people as well, to do their thing. And it's just an idea for you guys because it works at the county. It works really well. And that way, if we have this guy, Tracy Lamont, he could go on and on and on and on. So they put the rules in place and I was like, I get it. But if somebody was talking about like a subdivision up on the mountain and they were really concerned about, you know, bulldozers and all that's coming in, they couldn't get it done in 5 minutes. So they would take their buddies, their part of what they're discussing and continue on until they were done. But usually only up to 3 people, 15 minutes. So it's just something I thought maybe you guys want to play around with a little bit. Because I think your little radiant deal and all that's gonna just keep firing up until you get representatives that will be able to speak for a bunch instead of just one after the other, attack. You know, get lines of communication opened a little better. And that's it. Thank you.
Ma'am, to clarify, he was mentioning that we currently have some zoning as it could be apartments. We want to change that to where it would reflect more of the DNA and the
Single family.
single family homes. Yeah. Yes, that's,
Minutes, so I'll have to back them a little
Yeah.
bit.
I just wanted to clarify. He was saying it's currently zoned that way. We're trying to make it more reflective of Bar None to single family housing. So
If I had to give my opinion on that, I think you guys ought to just make them move that outwards and leave Bar None big enough to where if you do expand, you have room to do it. And it doesn't upset the people that live here. But that's just me. Thank you.
thank you.
There you go.
Ma'am, could you state your name, please?
Judy Jones.
Thank you.
Howdy.
For the record, Robert Plotnicki, a resident here in Bar None. So from what I've heard from Tyler and Stephen, there's I think a theme of harmony, which is like awesome. I cannot pay you guys to do this because I'm coming a couple times here from that place of desiring harmony within our community. So I appreciate that, Tia. So this is just a little clarification, and it may start off not sounding like harmony, but it definitely is, and it's about empowerment, which is for town council and for all the residents of Bar None. So, and to address a misstatement I was aware of. So how statutes actually get used. I want to briefly clarify how statutes and laws are used in public decisions, so everyone here feels confident participating. In our system, residents, advocates, and officials often cite statutes, regulations, and ordinances to support their position. Different people may cite different sections or read the same section differently. That's normal. In court, the judge, and sometimes the jury, decides which laws apply and how to interpret them. Outside of court, bodies like this council rely on the town attorney and public process to evaluate those citations. So when a resident references a statute, good faith, that's not misapplying the law. It's making an argument, which is exactly how civic participation works. So empowering residents. If we reference a law, name the statute and section so it can be checked. Ask that your citation may be entered into the record and that the town attorney provide a short public clarification at future meetings. Understand that reasonable people can disagree about how a law applies. What matters is that we treat each other with respect while the town does its due diligence. So in closing, we can disagree on policy without questioning motives. Let's keep empowering residents to use the tools the laws provide openly, respectfully, and on the record. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You have a bulletin and I just had, well, first, let me just say thank you, Councilman Martin, also Councilman Clark. Way to lead by example. I know it's a little bit longer than probably a lot of people wanted to see or hear. But this is the first time I've seen council represent themselves in a way of truly being able to say that you've listened and you want to be transparent. So I applaud you. Thank you for doing that. Second, I just wanted to ask, I've heard from a lot of neighbors, they would love to come to the town council meetings. They're just not able to with either sports for their kids, they might be volunteering, they might be working out of town. I wanted to hear from each of you thoughts on having like what the minerals committee does, where you can like register in advance for public comment. Is that something that our council would be willing to do?
What do you mean?
We'd have to talk about it, probably.
The minerals committee that I went to, they had like a way that you could register to have public comment. I think you had a deadline to get in by like the day before, something like that. I didn't do it. I just happened to notice that people had came in and were able to speak. And I've heard from a few of you tonight, including you, Mayor Boyer, that you'd like to hear from the people. And so this might be a great way and a more efficient way than trying to make phone calls and knock on doors.
So,
To hear from.
so what he is referring to is, and you can stop the clock on this, is that the legislative committees, such as the Minerals Committee, allows for interested parties to pre-register to provide actually testimony, is what they regard it as, in legislative hearings. It's a little bit, it's a actually considerably different format than we do here, because the number of individuals isn't limited in front of the city council, whereas usually a legislative subcommittee like that or a committee will take a certain number of registrations and then they have a cutoff time and that's it. And also their time is quite a bit more tightly budgeted than the municipalities is. So that's what she was referring to. With legislative committees, you can actually appear, at least in some of them, online. So there's interactive like Teams feature is what I think they use. It might be Zoom. But anyway, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I believe that's what you're referring to.
I think the city of Casper, years ago, I was able to come in on a phone and be able to give public testimony. So I don't know, whatever method that might be, it's just something that I think it would be a much more efficient way.
So by registering, I mean, like, because I'm trying to work through it in my head and I'm not trying to be a jerk. I just, how would that work as compared to what we're doing right now? Like, I'm not seeing how that would be beneficial.
I think it would be up to the council on all the logistics and all the semantics and all the details. I'm just a way that those who physically can't be here, especially like I've met some people that are handicapped, they can't get here physically and they would love to speak to you guys, but they don't have a way to either call in, to go online. And a lot of times too, you can watch the live stream because it's not truly live. It's uploaded later. So I'm just asking the council to consider for those who physically can't be here, just finding a solution, not here to judge how you get there. Just
Would there be a way to have their comment read in by somebody else?
That's actually what I was going to say, is that anyone is free to email the council and we'd be happy to read a comment. We've done it before. So that is an option available.
If they want it on record,
Yeah.
put it on the record for public comment if they had emailed it in ahead of time.
I'd be happy to. There are, I don't know of any, but again, just to consider any of those who may not have that ability. Like my father doesn't have any way to email you. He doesn't have a computer and he's not going to. I'm not. Fine.
I mean, even if he handwrites a letter, you could scan it and email it to us.
Right, well, he's on statistics, so he
We get a lot of emails from people.
But again, just out of a matter of efficiency and convenience, if you really want to be transparent and you really want to hear from your constituents, we all live in a world where it's convenience is king. I mean, asking somebody else to come, like, I'm tired of coming to these. I've been running volleyball girls all over the place. I'm tired. I just got done eating dinner. I was late. Just making it more convenient for the average family. It's tough. For the average senior citizen that lives here, it's just tough.
I think there, Callie, correct me if I'm wrong, is there something on our website? Because I've gotten emails from that comment section.
For emailing the council.
Yeah,
Yes, there's a contact section. You can select who you want to contact.
yeah, there's that option on the website. You can select who to get, because we've all been emailed comments from residents before directly through that. And then our emails are on there as well, that they can directly email us.
The emails aren't published on the website, so
No, they would come, the emails would just come to us
yes.
for that, so.
Like you said, not everyone has email or internet, but I'll go ahead and take it upon myself as a citizen to just advertise. I'm happy to do that for those who can. Thank you for considering.
Thank you. Thank you.
Any other petitions or public comment not related to nuclear?
Representative Bill Elliman. I want to talk to you folks about our police force. We don't need it. Before you ever put the police force in, I would like you to tell these folks exactly what it's going to cost them. I have tried to talk to John Harlan a couple times today. Was not able to get a hold. I do not think that the county sheriff department is willing to write you folks off. So what? Maybe we give them another $100,000 a year to beef up. If we need a beef up police force, let's give them the money. Let's not do a police force that's going to cost these folks millions of dollars. You guys say we don't have the money. We know we do, but you say we don't have the money. So let's not spend it in waste. So, thank you.
Thanks, Bill. Supposed to respond?
I really want to.
Don't have to.
Can we? Just need to come up with something for it. At the end. Yes, sir.
Name's Mike. You know that.
Welcome to the
I am
party.
a huge proponent of a police force. And I'll tell you why I am. A couple of years ago, there was a domestic violence incident that happened across the street from my house. The two children were in my house crying and bawling because dad was in the house on drugs and drunk, and there were guns and drugs in the house. We called the sheriff's department and they showed up about 45 minutes to an hour later. A lot can happen in 5 to 10 minutes, let alone 45 minutes. So if we had our own police department, would they have gotten there quicker? I don't know. But 45 minutes to an hour for response time on a domestic violence doesn't work for me. About a year later, I called the sheriff's department again. It was kind of a klutzy kind of move on my part, maybe. But there were 3 kids going up and down the street, 2 on mini bikes, 1 was in a go-kart. And they were going up and down the street, up and down the street, up and down the street. It got a little annoying after about 2 hours. I call the sheriff's department. They showed up about an hour later and asked me what my concern was. They're just being kids. I said, I appreciate that, but it's a main road. And a go-kart is this tall. And someone backs out of their driveway and that go-kart goes under that car. That's a tragedy that really shouldn't have happened. So when I called the sheriff's department, he showed up. He asked me what my concern was, and I just told him what I just told you. And as I was telling him the story, the kids were at the end of the street, fixing to come down again. They saw the sheriff and turned around and took off the other way. And I said, well, there they go right there. Well, Mike, what do you want me to do about it? I said, I don't know, maybe your job. And he goes, well, I don't want to get those kids in trouble and get them in the system. I said, I appreciate that. I don't either. All it takes is maybe talking to the kids and saying, listen, don't run up and down the streets. Barnett has plenty of back alleys, and I got a 20-acre property across this house, that's town land, with plenty of trails they can ride on. So all you gotta do is talk to the kid. Just tell them, you can't do this. Be careful. So I'm a proponent of having our own police department that's community-minded, that can get to know the kids, talk to the kids, find out who's tearing up the damn half-court basketball court up there, who's tearing up the splash pad that you all spent a lot of money on, who's busting this stuff up. If you have a good police department, they can get to know the kids. And the kids will turn in the other kids because they want to do that. They want to be recognized as kids. We got to put in a $16,000 bus stop. I recommended contract it to me. I'll put up in 4x4, OFC, shelter done, couple $100. But the council said, well, we can't do it that way because the kids will bust it up and you'll have to do it again. Well, maybe we need a police department to stop this vandalism from happening in the first place. All right. So I got 47 seconds left. Anybody want to holler at me? Go ahead.
Bill missed.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. For council business.
Okay, yeah. I just want to thank the sheriff department and explain that it's a complaint. Okay.
Yes, Childress Garnon. No offense to Mike. Number 3, address the mayor and council only. This is the second meeting in a row. And this time I feel like I've been scolded. So, surprise, can't hear you back there. Can't hear the speakers back there. Public speaker. Just wanted to get that out of the way. I spoke with one of Sheriff Harlan's lieutenants a couple weeks ago. I met with Sheriff Harlan this week at his coffee with sheriff, or well, that'd be last week, sorry. They both told me the same thing. Basically, the sheriff's department is willing to do whatever the people, bar none, want them to do when it comes to serving our community. As a county sheriff, the department has an obligation to everyone in the county with or without an MOU. And for anyone who doesn't know what an MOU is, it's an agreement, an MOU, memorandum of understanding, agreement between who are the named parties are. The MOU with bar none has been meant to ensure that we had a deputy present for 40 hours a week. Whether or not we have an MOU, the deputies are going to continue to respond when needed, with or without a police force here. I asked Sheriff Harlan about enforcing bar none ordinances because that does seem to be an issue. He explained that it's really difficult for the deputies to appear at our municipal court because our schedule is unpredictable. Any day, anytime, but that's a little exaggeration, I guess. That's me, not him. So the court could be scheduled on a day the deputy is in district court, he might be sick, it might be his day off, whatever the case may be. And if court dates were on a set schedule, it would be less of an issue for them to appear. Additionally, the sheriff believes that state statutes are sufficient for bar none, since they address pretty much any issues we have. Our contract with the sheriff has been the same for many years, according to Sheriff Harlan, $85,000 for 40 hours a week. And although we contract for 40 hours, they may be here longer. There is not a time clock for the deputies. They might be here filling out paperwork on Antelope, McMurray, wherever, but at the same time, they are still keeping an eye out on our community while they're there. In my opinion, there's no way that we can support even one police officer for that amount. Between their salary, their training, their vehicle, the equipment, et cetera. And not only that, but we all know one police officer is not going to be able to cover our town. Obviously, he's not going to be available 24/7. He'll need to have days off, might be sick, vacation, whatever. We already can't pay our fire chief a salary. He's on a stipend. Now you're telling us that we're going to pay a police chief, and I would assume in a very short period of time, we're going to have to hire 3 officers, 6, who knows how many officers, because he can't do it all on his own, right? Sheriff Harlan informed me that he was asked by Mayor Boyer to provide a 6-month contract that would see the town through a transition period until Bar None's police department is up and running. On August 5th, the public was told by council, and I quote, "The sheriff wants his deputies back." We were also told that the sheriff no longer wants to contract with Bar None. From my conversation with Sheriff Harlan, what the council told us on August 5th, were outright lies. This is a rhetorical question. I don't want anybody to answer it because I only have less than a minute left. But how are we supposed to trust anything you tell us? When we were voting as a board on whether or not to dissolve Wardwell, I explained that I was not in favor of the dissolution, but I believed it was up to the voting residents to make that decision, not me. Therefore, as a board member, I voted to bring the issue to the voters. And I believe it's time for the council to stop trying to force all of these issues on the residents of Bar None. And let us vote on it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jennifer Hopkins, thank you for this privilege to speak tonight. So I'm speaking against the police force. So the question I had to ask, first, before I get to that, was there a meeting for 1525? Because I wasn't able to access those minutes.
What's 1525?
April 15th.
Oh, April 15th.
Because I wasn't able to access those minutes, so I'm not sure if there was a meeting or not. That can be discussed later.
Good.
A question I have is, has the resolution for the police department been signed yet?
So the resolution for the police department is just to begin the process. It's not for an actual police department. It's for an interim police chief so that we can begin setting up basically the all the necessities that are required to have a full-time police department.
Okay. Also, for this new candidate, prior to the application, I was at a meeting. And Mayor Boyer has said, I have a friend in mind. I'm paraphrasing that because I could not find it in the minutes. I was here. I heard you say it. And I asked last meeting, are you prior friends with this gentleman that you are, to my left of me, that you want, that's willing to be our police chief?
So Mr. Sheridan approached me about 3 years ago, I believe it was. Is that about right, Steve? Yeah, it was about 3 years ago before I was mayor. And it was in our old council. Yeah. It was in our old council chambers, and he wanted to introduce himself because we had begun to talk back then when Patrick Ford was mayor about actually hiring a police chief. And so he gave me his card. He gave me a book that he wrote, which is actually a really good book. I recommend everyone read it. And we discussed the future and his interest or future interest in being possibly the police chief. I said, okay. So we traded phone numbers and we kept in, I would say, somewhat loose contact. So if I called him a friend, it was because I was being cordial. I think you're reading too much into it and trying to find fault where there is none. And this is what we talked about before, where people are trying to excoriate my character by taking words that
Can we pause that?
No, we're not going to pause it. You asked me a question. So you're trying to excoriate my character when you're trying to find fault with me when I'm just literally talking. Like if you, that is not how that was stated, but continue, please. So the time is now yours now.
Phrase it. So it's clarification. Thank you for your clarification. Another question is, does Bar None need its own police station for Radiant to exist here? Is that something that would be needed? If you don't know.
Meaning what? Are you saying that, do we need one for Radiant specifically?
Well, do we need to be established in that way as a town?
No.
Okay.
No, this talk has been going on for years.
All right, so I just wanted it stated that I am not for the police station. I do know even police in Casper right now are having trouble. They're 3 hours backed up. And having one person and, the funding of it in the future, it's problematic, in my opinion. And I have not had a problem with the sheriffs responding to anything that was needed that I would, that I've seen. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other petitions or public comment?
I was going to respond to Trumbull County residents. I don't think it's hard to see on social media and hear previous public comment that Councilman Sobrowski, Councilman Boyer support Radiant. I don't think there's any doubt in anybody's mind on that. Councilman Tyler, do you want to retract what you just said about that you do not support it? Because I have the message right here. Do you want me to read it publicly?
I want to clarify. I never in what I just said did I say I do not support Radiant. I said I'm neutral, leaning positive.
This is not mutual. This is not neutral. That is not how I perceive it. And I'm pretty sure that's how other people will not perceive it.
Yeah.
So when I do research.
But I did just make the clarification though.
Unfoundedly. Okay? I don't.
Okay.
I don't make accusations about people and discredit them. I have defended Councilman Sobrowski several times and said I will not go down that road because I have no proof of anything. So.
I won't fall for a gotcha. I think I spoke very sincerely.
I rely more on political voices than counsel from our church family. I need to clarify that my role on council is separate from my role as pastor of Outfitter Church. I don't think it's right or necessary to consult church members on how I lead in this manner. Many of our church live in Bar None and know they share town concerns anytime. And many have, including about Radiant. I've listened and weighed that feedback. I want to push back on your claim and say I've worked through a process I trust and I made an informed decision, a process that has guided many town decisions I am proud we accomplished. Thank you again for sharing your concerns. Sadly, after reflecting on your message and talking with Dan, I know we disagree about Radiant and I don't see that changing. However, I want to affirm I support your decision to continue opposing their project as every resident has the right to do so. Does that sound like an impartial thought?
I want to thank you for reading that because I think it shows to everyone that was a very kind, loving message.
Kind loving has nothing to do with it, sir. It's an impartiality. It means that there is a conflict of interest.
You need to, hey, let's calm down a little bit.
I'm finished.
Yeah.
People
respond?
themselves.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm going to respond to that one now because of the nature of it. I've got notes to respond in council business to a few other really good comments that were made. That one, Kayla is also welcome to add. I had a 2-hour meeting with her. I would never have named her except that a text that I sent to her and her husband was just read. And I since talked with Kayla. We had a phenomenal conversation. I explained to her that up to this point, I've never needed to consult, like to elicit responses out of our church members. And I said, in hindsight, I have no problem with asking our church where they stood. And I told them that I've actually updated and changed that view. That I said, when I said I don't feel the need to ask our church, one, that is also a personal matter if I have to or not. But anyways, I did say that I have no problem, talking to our church members about this specifically. I've never needed to consult them on a town decision yet. And as I said earlier, this is a categorically bigger. So I would have no problem talking to our church about it. And I've had lots of conversations, and I had some absolutely phenomenal and productive conversations with Kayla. So I stand by every comment that you read, and I'm glad you did because I think it showed a very reasonable response. Thank you.
Thanks, Tyler.
Yeah, thank you.
Any other petitions or public comment?
Mayor, council, Eugene Zahara, fire chief, town of Barnett, appointed by you guys. Since my title was brought up tonight, I just want to let you guys know that I have no problem being paid what I'm being paid right now. I told you guys that I was going to come in and change this department and push us forward, and I would prove myself to you guys. Hopefully that's the case to this point.
Yes.
Now we're gonna change hands. Eugene Zahara, resident, Barnett. 309 Youth Circle. As far as the police department goes, I think we need a police department, okay? First of all, the sheriff's department, no offense to you guys back there, you guys do a fabulous job.
Amen.
But their job is the whole entire Natrona County. How many square miles is that? 54. Exactly.
That's the size of Rhode Island.
When mine and my wife's RV had an aerial firework shot through a window, what I was told by dispatch was they couldn't come out and take a report because they were too busy. So luckily, that firework did not catch my RV on fire, and I only had to pay $580 for a new window. We can reduce cost and vandalism in this town. So like when you guys provide the community with something, whether it's playground equipment, whether it's gazebos, whether it's picnic tables, every time those things get damaged, we are paying for the replacement, right? I'd rather put my money to good use and bring a police department to town. So that way we have community policing. They can know the members of the community, and we have eyes and ears. They can tell tell law enforcement what's going on, and it's nothing with the sheriff's department guys. They do a fabulous job, but their time constraints are limited based on their coverage area. That's where I'm at. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sam.
And we do appreciate the job you're doing at the fire department. You've been work,
Absolutely.
so we're super happy about that. Any other petitions or public comment?
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. My name is Shannon Eli. I'm a Barnett member. And I'd kind of like to, with all the criticism and backlash you guys are getting, me as a citizen of Barnard and a few others I talked to, we think you're doing a beautiful job with what you've got. You do the best research you can with the ability you got, but you can get research to follow either way of the fence, whatever you want. I think you guys are doing a marvelous job with what you're capable of dealing with, the resources you have. And from just a citizen's perspective, I respect it. I don't see any wrongdoing, any backroom stuff going on. I think you're all upfront. I think you're doing the best you can under these circumstances. I can understand where your feelings get upset. Some of you start cursing me, talk about my family, talk about my, well, put it politely, but talk about me. I'm going to lash out and not in a very good way. So I think you're all doing fantastic under the microscope you're under at this time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other petitions or public comments?
Redmond, Barnum. I just have a quick question. It's about a fencing permit. I already have a partial fence around my property, but I possibly need to finish one side. Do I need a permit for that?
Did you originally pull one for the original fence?
No, because
Was that prior to? Yeah.
I'm assuming it was a permit that had been pulled and never completed. I guess.
So is it a partially built fence or what's the
It's three sides. Or
three sides?
Side is.
Those are the four?
Mhm.
Which side?
The right hand side.
Oh, this is side, back side. Okay, street side. Gotcha.
So one side on the left hand side is finished and then all the way around back, but then on the right hand side, if you're facing my house, it is not finished.
And that's where, like, if you have a drive to go back to put, because I'm friends with you guys, it's where your boat or a camper could be, right? So it'd be just finishing that out.
And I don't like the permit process anyway, so, but I'm.
Just think
You have to
Need when it take for approval.
Like,
immediately.
like 5 minutes, like you come in and just get the permit.
Yeah.
And you'd be out of here in what, 5 minutes?
Yeah, and hours being really
You
generous.
just got to make sure that you meet the code, which is not more than 3 feet tall.
So when that permit was originally put into place, if I remember right, it was mainly so we could have the residents come down and know what the parameters were for putting the fence in, like not putting a fence higher than it should be out past the house and whatnot. So, I mean, if we don't have a reason to make her do another permit, is there a reason to do another permit?
Stick to the ordinance.
I just do it.
Match.
Just do it.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
They have an exemplary.
unless Ray's gonna,
You want a corner?
No.
I'm
Okay.
second house in.
Yeah.
But my neighbor is like pouring concrete and doing all sorts of stuff. And so I just wanted to make sure that we were above board.
I think you're fine.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other petitions or public comment? Going once, going, nope.
Hold on, you might have somebody.
Everybody pretty much knows me, Mike Newcrest, I'm a resident. Just a friendly reminder to the council that as soon as these minutes are recorded, they are law. They're a court of, it's a court of law. These can't be misspoken, none of this stuff that goes on during our meetings. This is what you guys agreed to. You yourself approved them. They are a public record. What is stated in there when we go back and read them is fact. Not hearsay, not I misspoke, not whatever excuse we have. And on top of that, with the zoning, I'd like to remind everybody not to zone in McMurray's land or that big project north of town. And to make sure that we do, that you guys remember that we do exceptional research. Exceptional. So if there's a conflict of interest with any of your businesses that you all own sitting on this council, and you guys happen to get those contracts or your family members, we will definitely expose it. Be very aware. This is my only warning to you all. And I love that our police officers are here, because that still reminds me, you guys are extremely afraid of the people. And I love that. Thank you.
No, Mike, we just want to keep the peace. That's why they're called peace officers.
Oh. Yeah, because we've all gotten out of hand in this council. We know that.
Any other petitions or public comments? Going once, going twice, sold. All right. Moving on. Anyone? Oh,
He wants to talk about.
Are we under? Still here?
yep, we're nuclear. We're going hot.
Got 2 copies of this. You'll have to. Here.
Yes.
Taken from either Radius website, their handouts, or other stuff. Okay, my name is Marshall Hood. My wife and I live on Antelope Drive down past the, guess it's that way, past the fire station. For background, I am a retired metallurgical engineer. Before I got my degree, I spent a 4-year tour of duty in the Navy, where I was involved in handling nuclear weapons, so I know a little bit about nuclear security. After I got my degree, I worked for several metallurgical plants in the western United States, one of which was Bear Creek Uranium out in the Powder River Basin, where I wore a film badge every day. So I know a little bit about nuclear radiation exposure. During the latter part of my career, I was project engineer for a number of metallurgical plant expansions or repairs. This concerns Radiant's business plan. You say, why is it important? Well, their business plan indicates how they operate and how they are going to do with you. They've given you a lot of really nice, pretty presentations. But looking at what they have actually put out on their website. Number one here, this is a nice picture, screenshot from their website. This reactor that they're going to produce weighs 70 tons. They're showing it on the back of a 3-axle flatbed trailer. Any of you guys working in trucking or whatever? Well, it's 80,000 pounds of maximum load on a 3-axle trailer. Their 70-ton operation will require a lowboy and
9-axle.
okay, a lowboy and a whole lot of extra axles. One question you need to ask them is how are they going to get the stuff in and out of or none? Because our roads are not related for that, and they're going to have and lots of permits from the WIDOT. The reactor uses what's called HALEU fuel, HALEU. That's high assay, low enrichment uranium. Low enrichment is a misnomer. It's 19.5% U-235. If it goes over 20%, it's called bomb grade, high assay. It's pretty hot stuff. I would not want to carry a piece of it around in my pocket. They've got a bunch of deployment problems and operational problems. Their units require a 48-hour cold start when they're in place. I don't know about a warm start. They can only be turned down to 300 kilowatts minimum output. If you look at a picture of their unit on the back of it, that's in the back of there, they show all the other part of it. One thing that they totally do not show is they don't show an electric generator. Their units are going to be dumped down there, and whoever buys them is going to have to provide a generator that will take their coolant output and run their generator. Their operation is quite poorly set up. Got started during the Biden administration. And it's really based on the fact that during the Biden administration, we were going to get rid of all CO2 emissions. We're going to shut down the coal-powered power plants. Everybody was going to be running electric cars, and there's going to be a big need for a lot of charging stations. Those things don't apply anymore. I ask you to do some careful questioning about their operation, because from the standpoint of what I did as a project engineer, if I had taken something like this to my engineering management people, they would have laughed me out of the office, and I probably would have been looking for a new job. So yes, it doesn't directly affect you, but this poor setup is going to do it sooner or later.
Thank you so much.
Hey, what kind of engineer did you say you were?
I'm metallurgic engineer.
Metallurgic. Okay, cool.
And given that Mr. Hood's materials were part of his public comment, you may want to append those to the record.
Right. So. And that's Kelly. Yeah, 2 copies. I want to keep this one.
Thank you, sir.
Hi. Jennifer Hopkins, thank you for allowing me the privilege to speak tonight. I have, for the last 2 weeks, I've been conducting a short community survey about the future of Bar None. So this is my survey. I'm just about done. I'm up here to invite you all after the meeting to fill out the survey. It's anonymous, and you can put whatever you want on it. If you don't like the questions, everything would be taken into account. So my survey will consist of 350 as the sample. I have been knocking on every single door in Bar None. I'm sure people are sick of me, and I have gone back through too. So if I missed you, my survey also, it's only 1 person per resident. So it's
350 homes?
350 homes or whoever opens their door. So some of my questions consist of, how do you feel about Bar None? Are you positive about the future of Bar None? To what things they would like to see, what kind of growth that Bar None resident would want to see. And it also goes into the energy and some radiant questions and how they feel about that. I do regret not putting the police station on here, but maybe that's something you can think about, having citizens come in and do a different survey on that. So I was hoping to have it done this meeting, but I will have it done by the next meeting to present to you. I'm really, really excited about this. I met so many people, and we have such great residents out there. I mean, the people are they're very knowledgeable about what's going on. They are, they know what they want. And yes, some of them, the older Bar None, they didn't even want us in the newer Bar None. And so that's true. So, but anyway, please stop by after the meeting. It takes less than a minute to fill out. I want, unless you're, someone else in your household has filled it out already, but you're welcome to fill it out. And so I think my 350, but I'm pretty much there. I got about 90 left. And so, but anyways.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, go ahead.
If you get it done before council session, would there be a way for you to email it so we can actually look at it before
Yes.
we're sitting here looking at it?
I'm going to email you.
Beautiful.
I'm going to give you a copy of all of these bits. Our residents wrote on these too. And how they feel. So you'll get a copy of the breakdown in my survey, and you'll get a copy of this. I might just give you one stack instead of each one of you, but I will. And when is that? The next,
2 weeks from now.
Weeks from now.
oh, yeah, I'll have that done. I'm hoping by the end of this week, and I didn't want to bother people on Labor Day.
Even if it's Monday before I go through all
Yeah,
this stuff.
absolutely. Okay,
Thank you.
that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I read a lot these days. If you count audiobooks as reading.
By the way, I appreciate the opportunity to come up twice. That's pretty awesome. So thanks.
We're trying to divide it up so that we don't lose the one comment section into the other comment section.
No, you're doing it. As my sensei, Master Yoda said, do or do not do. Don't try.
You gotta spell your name wrong twice.
Yeah. Robert Kwasnicki. The topic on this one is a fair, community-wide advisory vote on Radiant Harmony. So I'm here, I would like to offer a constructive path to reduce division and give the council a clear mandate from the people you represent. The issue, Radiant Industries is considering operations and potential nuclear-related activities roughly half mile from our town boundary. Neighbors are at odds and trust between residents and the town is fraying. We need a legitimate community-wide answer, not more rumors, yard sign wars, or meeting showdowns. The solution I'm proposing, please place on your next agenda a resolution to hold a town-run advisory referendum. A simple yes or no vote of Bar None residents on the following question. Are you for or against Radiant Industries locating operations, manufacturing, and/or nuclear waste storage in or within 30 miles radius of Bar None's town border? This would be a non-binding advisory vote administered by the town so every resident can be heard in an orderly, transparent way. If, after consulting the town attorney and the Trona County clerk, you prefer to place a question on an official general election ballot, please work with the clerk to follow state deadlines. I believe municipal ballot propositions for a general election typically must be certified by the municipal clerk to the county clerk no fewer than 60 days before the election, but that needs to be confirmed. So alternatively, the council can adopt or refer an ordinance to the voters through Wyoming's municipal initiative or referendum process, if that's the cleaner legal vehicle. And then it brings us to a commitment to honor the result. Before the vote, I'm asking the council to publicly comment to act on the community's decision. If the town votes for Radiant, for the issue, and the town votes for, issue an official town of Bar None statement of support for Radiant and notify key stakeholders. If the town votes against Radiant, issue an official town of Bar None statement of opposition. And per Radiant Representative Matt Wilson's public remarks from, I don't know, a month or a couple months ago, formally requests that Radiant not locate in or near Bar None, honoring that commitment. In either case, the town distributes a statement to local media, Radiant Industries, the Wyoming legislature, the governor, Advanced Casper Area Chamber of Commerce, the NRC, and any other relevant body, ending speculation and giving everyone a clear official position. Why this helps? It lowers the temperature, replaces rumor with results, and provides democratic legitimacy for whatever comes next. If it gives a council a durable mandate to speak with one voice to state and regional partners. It shows leadership. You're inviting the community to decide together and committing in advance to respect the outcome. So my specific request tonight, please direct staff to place this item on your next agenda and instruct the town attorney and clerk to, one, prepare an advisory vote plan the town can run this fall or the earliest feasible date, including voter eligibility, notice, ballots, and tabulation. Two, confirm with the Natrona County clerk whether the official general election ballot is available in the exact 60-day certification and formatting requirements if you choose that route. In closing, we can disagree without being disagreeable. A fair vote is the fastest path to unity and clarity and harmony. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I also drafted motion language. I took care of that for you. If you guys do want to act on it, save you a little bit of time, you know, stay up late. May I hand it off to the clerk?
Sure.
All right. Thanks. Appreciate your time.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Petitions or public comment regarding nuclear.
Fowler, an Eternal County resident. First, I would like to say thank you for letting us be here and talk today. And Tyler, that was a very good show of good faith. And I appreciate being talking about our concerns and actually being here. It's very refreshing to see a human being. Okay, so consent-based siting, it is a process. No project moves forward until people say yes. The fact that we are being left chasing rumors, digging through documents and piecing everything together ourselves proves the point that misinformation and secrecy is a problem here. No community should have to become nuclear experts just to defend their right to say no. If you want this project here, it's on you guys to prove why we should say yes. That means that you have to present the facts, the risks, and the full picture in public, you guys do, in order to get your people to understand why you guys are behind it. No behind closed doors operations, no secret meetings, no NDAs, not through rumors, not hearing from Gillette, not hearing from Lander, not hearing from Laramie, but hearing here right out of Barnard. Right? So belittling the public needs to stop. We need to have a common ground of courtesy and respect. Not everybody has the answers all the time. We don't have the answers. You guys don't have the answers. But the problem is not having the answers is not good enough. We need solid and distinct answers that are given to us as the public in a list. And that's just, we need transparency. This isn't old World War II technology. It's not the Manhattan Project. This is new fuel. It's a new process. And that means untested systems and untested processes that we haven't seen yet. The entirety of the micronuclear reactors will be on the road. So this is the whole system that he was discussing that you guys have a picture of. It's the whole system that will be moving out and it will be moving in. It will be moving out loaded and it will be moving back in with spent nuclear fuel, which is highly, highly dangerous. The numbers and stuff, I didn't look up on that for the weight and things like that. But it would be interesting to know, how far are they going to move and how long will it take? How many miles per hour, what hours? You were stuck between school hours 9 to 1. How many are actually going to be on the road? They said 1 a week, but it's not possible because if you take one out and you send it to Kentucky, they use it, they're going to need another one before they can release that one back to us. So we're going to have a lot more than just 1 a week. The spent fuel, it's not going to be in a dry storage caps, guys, when it's mobile. It's going to be dangerous. There needs to be containment measures, evacuation emergency measures in case anything goes bad. And anything can happen. We could get struck by lightning. We could get hit by a car. But that's 1 in a million. When you're sending out these reactors and they're on semis and stuff, anything can happen. Anything at all. These are all new problems. These are new risks. And we deserve to know what's on the table. Zero risk is not acceptable because there is risk for everything that we do. There is not zero risk. Standing right here, not zero risk. Right now, what we see in opposition of the project, we got transportation hazards, inconvenience for our community, bar none, inconvenience for Natrona County residents, and if it goes any further that way, when it goes south or east, west, wherever, the risks will fall on all of us in Natrona County, 25, 50-mile radius if something bad were to go wrong. We would all be evacuated. It would be terrible. Where are we all going to go? So while Radiant takes the reward for this, I don't think it's fair because what are the benefits for bar none? In fact, you guys say businesses and new face and everything, but we need the numbers, the transparent taxpayer dollars, what they're paying for, because they are paying for this and that gets into subsidies and all that stuff. And I'm not a big numbers person. But anyway, this is not a consensual process if it's just forced upon everybody. If you want a chance to move forward, you guys need to earn it. And with transparency, with educational opportunities, with public comment, not just forcing us into the college and telling us to shut up and be quiet. I do appreciate being able to speak here. I believe everyone in the county should have the right to speak on this, ask their questions. We should bring in third-party educators that aren't industrial-based, that aren't biased, that aren't the council, that aren't the people arguing and bickering. It has to stop. At the end of the day, though, and without a public referendum or a public vote, if you don't give the people a right to vote, then there is no consent. Do you have any questions?
I'd like to make a clarification point on the transportation of it. It was my biggest question when I went out to Idaho National Laboratories. Because I assumed those would be, just like you just said, the units themselves are gonna go up and down the road. That's not the case. They have to be inside of a module that meets the criteria of the CATS transportation system. Now, I did ask, it seems like a heavy item, maybe that's the total of, they told me it would take a 9-axle trailer to haul these things. And we use 13 axle trailers here in Wyoming to haul substructures for oil rigs. I did ask, wouldn't it be logistically better to create the transportable module that you take out to the site and transfer the fuel on site? They said that is an option they are looking at. They didn't give us the details of how far they're looking at it, but it is an option they're considering. Because it is a logistical, I mean, to take them out in a cask type structure, but a square module and bring them back, it's expensive. So I'm sure if they can make something more efficient, cost effective, they're gonna do it.
Thank you for sharing that. Anything else that you would like to clarify?
Thank you.
Any other petitions or public comment relating to nuclear?
Representative Bill Alaman, House District 58. And I had a speech prepared tonight. Thankfully, I wadded it up and I did not throw it out the window. I threw it on the floorboard. Guys, we got a problem here. It's a problem of distrust. The people behind me distrust you guys. Is it because you are dirty, that you've done something wrong, that you are being bought off? No, it is not. It is the distrust that they hired you. They voted for you as they voted for me. And now your votes are going against them. I had a poll. I know that some on this council do not believe in my poll if Jesus Christ himself would have handed it to them. They do not believe in my poll. My poll showed 72% of the people behind me do not want this. Are they afraid of it? Yeah. Do they think there's dirty dealings? Oh, absolutely. Corruption. It goes so far, guys. You need to really go home and search your soul and see what you are doing, because the people behind me, they are your citizens. They're the people who voted for you. And they do not like what you're doing. The NRC is corrupt. They have one goal in mind. We push nuclear further and further. Joe Biden said we're going to do this, and we're going to. And Trump's pushed it on. What do? Do we relax our policies so that we can get this crap going quicker? The people behind me do not want this in their backyards. One thing is safety. Another thing is the corruption. $25 million coming out of these people's pockets. $25 million. That's 7,200 working people a year. 7,200 people working a year to make 25 million bucks. Are we gonna take that money from them? Are we stealing it from them? I think that we need to step back and think about this. Think about the people behind me. Think about the 72% of House District 58 that does not want this. So, folks, what are we doing? Do we know better? Do we know better? Are we so smart? Are we on such a high pedestal against the people behind me that we're so dang smart? We know better than they do. Or maybe, should we listen to them? I'd like you guys all to think about that tonight. And yes, I am having a meeting with Matt Wilson because I am not against jobs in Bar None. I'm not against anything other than storage of nuclear waste. I'm having a meeting with Matt Wilson, and we are sitting down and we're going to break bread and we are going to try and figure this out to where we can bring the jobs to Bar None without this nuclear waste crap. Because that is a point, that is a hill I will die on. There will be no nuclear waste in Bar None. Thank you.
Representative Alman, I have a question for you real quick.
Yes, sir.
Do you go to Midwest and Edgerton and tell them they shouldn't have a police department? I'm just curious.
Say it again.
Do you go to Midwest and Edgerton and tell them they shouldn't have a police department? Do you?
No, they do.
Do you go to Casper? No.
No.
Yes or no? That's a yes or no question. That's a yes or no question.
Do not have a police department.
No, that's not what I asked. Do you go there and tell them that they should or they shouldn't?
It's never come up.
Okay, because they did. I know Tracy. I talked to him at the mayor commissioner breakfast and they're trying to get a police department. Do you go to Casper and tell them about their police department?
If
The reason I ask you this, Representative Alman, is because I'm your constituent too. And you forget yourself coming in here and dictating to this council. You represent all of 58.
absolutely.
Yeah, go represent 58 and let us do our job because you're interfering.
It is 58 and I am not
58.
interfering.
You know as well, hey, no, Representative Alman,
Not all of
you
them.
are not, this is not your job to come to our level and interfere with us trying to communicate with our constituents. And I am your constituent and so are we. And I'm reminding you of that because you have forgotten your place. Time has expired. You may sit down now.
I got a question. Also.
Talk to them. I am now here in Bar None talking to you.
I've got a question also. Are you familiar with a company called Oklo?
Yes, I am.
Okay. If the NRC is so corrupt and they're going to fast track all these nuclear companies,
You look.
hold on, let me finish my question. Why was their permit denied by the NRC? If the NRC is so corrupt, why did they deny and put Oklo behind Radiant? Now,
Because Okla screwed up at 3 Mile Island. Okra.
that was 1979, Bill. That has nothing to do with why I know why they denied the permit. That has nothing to do with it.
Thank you. I am sorry that I disrupted your council.
Any clarification?
Just real quick, just bring your temperature down a little bit. Representative Alman, not the tone of harmony, right? What the message was early on was to get us back into, more harmony together, the council and residents. Bill Alman, I reached out to him, my wife has reached out to him, and many of us reached out to him because initially there was a big chasm between you all and us, and appreciate the tone that's changing to bring us together. Mr. Alman is here on behalf of us only because we felt like, and you admitted it early on, we felt like we weren't being heard by the town council.
So I appreciate him being here, but it never would have happened. He wouldn't have to come here and speak on anything if we didn't have that.
I would, okay, and I would encourage everyone in this room, we're not doing double comments. I would encourage everyone in this room to really look and see why that happened or who created that situation. Because it wasn't us. We went to INL. We trying to do our due diligence. We wanted to educate ourselves. We wanted to do whatever we could to get the people information. We wanted to find out what was going on. And you need to look at who created this. No, you're done. Sit down. Sit down. I will call you out. You're out of order. Sit down. I will remove you out of these chambers if you do not sit down right now. No, you cannot. There are no double comments.
Well, this is on Mr. Alaman's phone.
No,
Okay,
no.
shut us up.
Yeah.
Give me just a second. We are trying to work with the people. I am encouraging the people. We're encouraging the people to please, we have emails. You can contact us at any time. We'll always respond. We always respond. I always respond to my emails. I would ask you to look at who created it. Because it wasn't us. And that's all I'm going to say.
I'd like to say something, Mayor. Sorry,
Mayor.
Sheila.
No, we're way out of line.
Okay.
You've got a schedule. You're stopping other people from speaking.
Please.
You stick to this published schedule.
Continue.
This is awkward because this is timely. I'm going to read Proverbs 18, and hopefully all of you, especially Spratsky, Boyer, Hellman, I respect all of you. You all have very, very tough positions, but I just happen to be reading this and I feel that it's very timely. So I'm going to share it. An unfriendly person pursues selfish ends and against all sound judgment starts quarrels. Fools find no pleasure in understanding, but delight in airing their own opinions. When wickedness comes, so does contempt, and the same comes reproach. The words of the mouth are deep waters, but the fountain of wisdom is a rushing stream. So I hope that has some kind of ownership for you all, especially those, Mr. Sabatsky, the way you have led the council on social media. Mr. Boyer, I know this is difficult, but losing our temper and pointing fingers is not going to solve anything. Mr. Alaman, I appreciate that you've listened to us. I really do. And it's hard to not lose your temper. I want to lose my temper a lot. But I do ask that specifically, especially Mr. Sabrowski and Mr. Boyer, in this regards to this nuclear specific project, that as I spoke earlier, the burden is on you guys. If you want to support this, the burden is on you to attack the citizens and say, show me the deaths, show me the facts. And then there's been several times where unfortunately we've had to requote and things that have been said were not factual. Income's not keeping up with COLA. Income is keeping up with COLA. That's the motivation for this project. I don't want to point fingers myself. I just want to ask you guys, take a little bit of ownership, and sometimes just saying nothing is best at all. And sometimes saying something when the other leaders are able to can really help. But I just was reading that, and after all of this, I thought it was funny to share with everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments on the nuclear industry? Go ahead.
Mayor, council members, thank you for this public forum. My name is Grayson Buckingham. I'm a father of two. Soon will be 3 next week.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm a veteran. I've served in the Wyoming Army National Guards for nearly a decade, a commander of Bravo 2300 with deployments to Iraq and Kuwait. I'm an attorney, and I'm also an entrepreneur. In 2018, I founded a company called Dissa Technologies, and it was just a dream. We started it here in Natrona County. and we've since grown it to 50 people. We're currently hiring another 20. And we focus on mineral processing, so we deal with a lot of metallurgical engineers, and we're also very focused in uranium. We're the only EPA validated technology to remediate abandoned uranium mine waste, where we can recycle that material. We also have operations in several different mines throughout the globe. I've dealt with the NRC. I can tell you they are very, very strict and tough to deal with. It took us 5 years just to get approval to remediate abandoned uranium mines. So these issues that we're talking about are not taken lightly at all. And, you know, I know what it's like to grow a business in Wyoming, and to see, you know, that come to fruition. And the economic impact it has, just from a study that we've done, you know, out of any startup in Wyoming, you know, we brought over $50 million in private capital here to Natrona County. And just out of the most recent 16 million, it was $130 million economic impact over 5 years is what we anticipate. So, you know, massive projects like this don't come every day. You know, and I think there are a lot of great points and questions asked, and I think that's the role of democracy. And you know, these are challenging things. But I just wanted to share my perspective as an entrepreneur and someone that's involved in the uranium industry, and as a business owner. I think we need to ask ourselves, you know, what, like, Wyoming has to stay open for business, and what message does this send if we're making it so tough for the most regulated commodity in the world to come here to our community, and we come at it with such vitriol. I think asking questions is perfectly acceptable. Nuclear waste is extremely scary. I deal with radiation every day. But, you know, what message, not only does it, you know, radiant aside, what are we saying to other people that want to come here into Wyoming? And it just worries me as a business leader, what type of impact we have, especially as we try to keep people here in the state, and then continue to grow our economy. Furthermore, you know, when I worked in the state legislature for a little bit, and the big joke there was our largest exports are youth. You know, I'm proud to say out of the job that we've created, and there's several other companies like us, we're almost all of the folks that we're hiring, the chemical engineers to, you know, admin roles to technicians, are people that grew up in Wyoming, and they would go to Colorado or they would go to North Dakota if they didn't have a job in the space. You know, about to have 3 kids myself, and hopefully many grandkids. I want them to stay here in Wyoming, and I want to be able to provide those jobs to them. Furthermore, as you know, my experience in the military, what keeps me up at night is China, and they are kicking our butts right now. And let's not be mistaken, we are in a Cold War with China, and they are using minerals and they're using energy as a weapon. They're building 100 new reactors right now, and we have lost our edge. And so I want that American innovation, and I want us as a country to be the lead. And we have an opportunity from Wyoming to really take charge, and show that we can take responsible innovation and let that flourish. You know, and addressing some concerns, you know, that obviously, you know, we've seen The Simpsons, that's been mentioned, right? But yeah, sure, there's been nuclear issues in the past, but today it is much smaller, it's safer, and it's much more advanced than anything in the past. And, you know, as I mentioned previously, I can attest at the arduousness of the NRC and their regulations. And I think asking questions like we are today are needed. But I think we have a massive opportunity in front of us as a community. And I just think it'd be a shame to let that opportunity pass. And I think we need to approach that in a thoughtful manner. So, you know, I'd like to prove that we're open to business, committed to innovation, and ready to lead nationally. So with that, I'll open it.
Grayson, thank you so much. How old are you?
35.
35. It's refreshing to hear somebody say American innovation, because it scares me that we're losing that. We founded this country on it, and through the 20th century built an amazing country, but it seems like we might be kind of heading backwards. It's good to see somebody your generation that's picking up that mantle of American innovation and moving forward. Thank you.
I appreciate that, sir. And I think if we address this topic, we need to say what type of message does this send to other folks as well that are watching this. And
absolutely,
I came today because I've been just watching what's going on in the news and the fear mongering that's happening. And I don't like I'm not saying that not worthy, thoughtful questions are being raised. I think they absolutely are, and I've heard many tonight. But I want us to win, right? And I want America to continue to win, and I think this is a microcosm of that, so.
And I think you made the point, whenever we have a problem, innovation, advanced technology takes care of that, whether it's a plane crash or the issues we've had in past nuclear stuff. We're constantly reevaluating those and building upon them and creating that safety. And in that industry, the multi-layers of safety are incredible. Thanks for bringing it up.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other public comment on nuclear industry? Going once, going twice.
Yeah,
We got one. Sorry.
You're good, man. I saw him.
Gotcha.
Thank you.
Devin Olson, a Toronto County resident. I live within probably about 2 miles of the proposed facility as the crow flies. Speaking in favor of Radiant tonight, I look at this broadly in terms of rights, and the main right that really comes to mind here is property rights. And it's being violated pretty heinously in one place that is, as I see it, outside of your guys' control as a town. And it's being attempted to be violated by, a lot of the public, in my opinion. So as far as where it is being violated, Bill Alamant did bring that up. There is a substantial amount of money that is essentially legalized plunder being redirected to the purpose of bringing in this facility. I know a lot of it's going to the town, but if they weren't coming to town, I'm doubtful they would be putting so much money into this. But again, that and the enemy in that is the Wyoming Business Council, and it's not the town for bringing in a business or allowing them to. As far as the other right, Mr. McMurray does own private property, has a right to sell it, and the private company does have a right to develop business so long as they do not put the public in danger. I live in the area, as I stated. I also drink well water from groundwater in the area, so I'd be pretty heavily affected if it did cause issues. Everything that I've read and everything that I understand, I don't see anything to be concerned about. And of course, if there is anything that comes up, I'd love to hear about it. But I stand in favor of Radiant. And I guess I'd just say, as far as the stuff that I see that you guys are able to control as a town at the municipal level, obviously you can't have any control over the state and what they do with funds. So you guys, the responsibility to stop that right violated. You guys did what you could, and all voted against it. So I think you did your job there. And then as far as allowing them to come in, I think you're also doing your job and standing for their right to operate and their right to transact privately as far as the property owner goes and the business in question. And I know it's incredibly unpopular. You guys have faced a lot of backlash, but I think you've done your jobs well. And I hope you guys have the strength to continue.
Thank you, Devin.
Thanks.
Thank you, Devin.
Thank you. Any other public comment on the nuclear industry? Yes.
Mr. Mayor, Council, Justin Farley. Just a point of clarity, not particularly for or against nuclear, but the Economic Development Joint Powers Board, which was the applicant for the $25 million grant to the Business Council that had been brought up by Mr. Ellerman and the former speaker, or the gentleman I just spoke, that they have withdrawn that application. So it's no longer on the table.
Wow. Is tonight the first announcement of it publicly?
Advanced Casper helps facilitate that board, and I get there's confusion between them. But the Joint Powers Board 2 weeks ago voted to withdraw that application.
Well, excellent. Thank you, Justin.
You bet.
Thank you. Any other public comment on nuclear? Going once, going twice. Sold. All right, on to council business. Sonny, talk to me about fire department surplus.
Mayor, council, along in your packet, there is a fire department surplus.
Very back.
Orange tabby.
On the top of that is going to be a bunch of radio equipment. These are all analog radios that don't operate on digital systems anymore. They are, I want to say 12 BKTPH X command radios, which used to be used quite a lot. They've actually upgraded those radios over the years. They're on their third generation of their new technology for Motorola or from Bendix King. So these radios are kind of obsolete. Just would like to surplus those for sale. Along with those radio comes 15 rechargeable batteries, which the new generation BKs will not accept. So it's kind of different. And then clamshell battery packs, which are basically, you can pop them from the radio, put alkaline batteries in them and run the radio off of those. And again, those clamshells do not fit new technology with BK. Then the Scott Rescue Air Packs, we have 2 of those that are basically confined space rescue packs that are outdated from like the early 80s all the way through early 90s. And then we have a Scott gas detector. I'm going to pull that one from the list for now because I'm going to do more research to see if it's still capable of being used by us or not. And then the other one is 4 Scott SCBA masks and packs. These are probably early 80s to early 90 packs that are obsolete. They're basically in plastic cases and they're just taking up space and we can't use them anymore. So
those even able to be used commercially if you were to sell them?
The rescue packs might be able to.
Not the.
But the SCBAs, no, I wouldn't recommend you putting anybody in them.
So they're.
Unless you want Josh to come in.
I don't want to.
That's the can maintenance use these radios?
No. So on that note, I've already given Dustin 6
Okay.
the Motorola 5.
Repurpose. Okay.
They're obsolete. I'll get with him tomorrow. I have a bank charger and extra batteries for him to use. And I'm still working through numbers on radios as far as there's going to be some other stuff coming up for surplus as well on that.
Cool. So Sonny, do any of these items have a value of over $500?
Not on the open market.
You mean each?
So to be
$500 each or total?
Well, $500 a piece.
Okay.
I wouldn't like on the open market today, no.
Because we need to memorialize that in some fashion. Your opinion should be sufficient, but
Okay.
if it's over $500, we have to use 151112 and take bids on them. I don't know how you intended to.
So the plan was to list them on municipal bid as items,
That'll take.
and they'll go to surplus auction.
Okay, that'll take care of the whole thing. Thanks.
How much do you think all of this is worth then?
I'm gonna say if we get $5,000 out of it, we'll be lucky.
Okay.
Actually, probably 2,500.
Okay. Well, I was just gonna say is there a way we could donate it instead of selling it then if it's very, very minimal?
Really problematic. What you really have to be doing is looking at another municipal corporation or public entity to do that. That's pretty tough.
Yeah, and the biggest problem is with the radios, they're just, the new technology has made these things obsolete. So nobody's making firmware to update them at all. So.
Right on.
If you guys are good with that, we'll get that all together and then sell it on surplus auction.
Roll on, Sonny.
Thank you.
Right. What? Yeah, that's what we're going to discuss now. Thanks for bringing that to my attention.
All right. Ambulance purchase. Hit me with it.
So found an ambulance online. It's with the municipality out of Nebraska. It's a 2008 ambulance, but it only has 95,000 miles on it. Eric went down to take a look at the ambulance, test drive it, run codes on it, all that type of stuff. And you can speak to it better than I can since you were actually down there and saw it.
The actual ambulance box is in fabulous shape. The actual condition of the chassis and motor in it is in really good condition. It's been properly serviced. Issues were maintained and taken care of. Test drove the vehicle. It runs better than anything I've driven in town. As far as ambulance wise, it's honestly, it's a good ambulance for the town of Martin for what we're going to be using it for. I don't anticipate major breakdown costs in the future, just because of how well it was maintained. I can't promise that, but in my professional opinion, it is a sound piece of equipment.
So the cost on that was $15,000. I would like to take money from the surplus of apparatus that we've already sold to purchase that ambulance. With the end goal being that by the end of this year, we will have a BLS transport unit for the town. I've also been speaking with ambulance billing consultants because ambulance billing is a very specialized area. I wouldn't want to put that burden on the girls in the office, to be honest with you. I need somebody specialized to do that. So in the coming months, you guys will probably have before you a contract to actually bill. Now, the goal is to bill insurance carriers only for the residents of the town. And then either write off the rest, or I'm looking at a group subscription for the town that people can buy into that'll actually be a secondary insurance for ground ambulance transport as well as air ambulance transport as well. So just look for that in the upcoming months as I work through negotiations with billing companies and other vendors for secondary ground ambulance coverage for the town.
Fantastic. Go ahead.
So we had an ambulance in the past.
Yes.
I think we did a trade. Am I remembering correctly? For
Yeah, so it was an engine for an ambulance.
Gotcha. But we didn't go down that route with that ambulance, correct? Doing transport. That was just.
So it was, but it was very limited, just when personnel were allowed, right? Or when we had available personnel.
Okay.
That ambulance was also stocked with certain medications, but it didn't carry the full complement for paramedics.
Okay.
So it was very limited. Again, we're going to start out and we're going to grow it, right? So basic life support transport that we can do with EMTs, which is what I have mostly on the fire department right now, is going to be the best way to start that. And so if it requires ALS or advanced life support care by a paramedic, Med Center will still be responding to all of our calls as well, and they will take over care once they arrive. If they deem it a BLS transport, the patient's not going to need IVs, medications, that type of stuff, then we'll go ahead and do the transport. That way, our residents aren't accruing that ground ambulance bill.
That was going to be my next question: is what kind of additional benefit are the residents getting from us?
So
having ambulance.
We will bill insurances. That's the goal. Like, we have to bill something so that way we have future replacement of durable medical equipment, ambulances. We provide a stream of revenue that would allow us to move forward and switch those out as they become obsolete over time, right? But my goal is not to make sure that we don't hit the pockets of our taxpayers in bar none, right? So finding other alternatives or methods that we can recoup funding for that ground transport is what we're really looking at.
And we can set our own billing of what we charge, right?
Yes.
Because from personal experience, it was in an ambulance ride from the Garden Creek area when my Jeep went off the mountain to Wyoming Medical Center was about $6,800.
Yes.
For a trip down with no IV, no nothing.
Yep. And that's why I'm working with a specialized billing company, right? Like, we need to make sure that we calculate our cost. That's reasonable. Like, we cannot.
A lot of money out here. Okay.
People don't need to be drained in their checking accounts because of an ambulance transport. Like, ambulance transport is a necessity. When people call it, it needs to be a necessity. And even when I worked on the ambulance full time, that was the biggest concern for some of the people that I picked up, was the cost of it. It costs too much. I can't afford it. And so my goal is to make sure that our residents do not burden that out-of-pocket cost on the back end. So Pat, I don't know, do they have to do anything?
Yes, they do. So what's the price of the ambulance?
$15,000.
And who does it belong to? What, does it belong to a municipal corporation or a public entity now?
A town in Nebraska.
How quickly do we need to act on this?
Basically, I'm gonna call them whenever we're good to go.
Well, let me look into something before we're good to go.
Okay.
Because I'm not entirely certain that we don't need to go through a bid process for that. I want to make certain that we don't. So. I'll look at it and get right back to you.
Okay, yeah, the sooner the better. That way I can just let them know because it is on hold for us. And then if I need to release it, so that way he can attract other buyers, that's what I'll do. Until we can figure out what our process needs to be.
All right.
Thanks, Pat.
Right on. Thanks, man. Any questions on the ambulance before we move on? No. Okay. We're gonna skip the MPO report. Steve's gonna catch that on the next one. Need to correct a couple of agenda items from the last agenda. So let's make sure we get this quoted pretty well, Callie. Rosemary Zaban in the last meeting stated that the council expressed support for the Radiant without first holding properly noticed meetings for public input, citing this May 6, 2025 minutes recording unanimous backing of a recommendation letter to the Wyoming Business Council. That is not accurate. We actually unanimously did not recommend that letter. So just for public record on that. And then another lady by the name of, see if I can find her name real quick, Debbie Franklin, stated that there was a nuclear power plant in Hermiston, Oregon that leaked into the land and water. And there actually isn't a nuclear power plant in Oregon. The last one closed in 1993. So just for a small minor correction there. I'm sure she probably was, she apparently moved around a lot. She was probably thinking of somewhere else and maybe just got them mixed up. So not a big deal. Anyway, let's see. I think that's it.
I got one quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Good thing.
Oh, no, we do have one.
So hopefully for the next council meeting, I'll try to have something put together to present. But I've been speaking with Wyoming Trails Alliance to develop a bike park down on High Plains Park. So if any of you walk down there, you see kids on our little dirt figure 8, 24 hours a day down there. And I absolutely love seeing that. It started with, I gave them some shovels and plywood and they built a jump right at the corner of the basketball court. And I have gone through about a dozen shovels that have gone away, but that's fine. But just on a walk last night, seeing the lights on also too, which was great. But these 3 kids that were down there stopped and had me watch them go over these new jumps that they built and some other things and asked how it was going with planning this and everything. So I've got some basic renderings that they kind of want to do. I'm going to try to meet with them this week to get a dollar amount to be able to talk to these guys about. But I think it could be a really awesome thing. It'll have some wood rollers and some drop downs and 2 different paths for the kids to kind of race on, and something that will last decades. It's going to be built very, very robustly. It's the same stuff that they build up on Castor Mountain. They're building a huge bike park in Douglas right now. And then they also do the stuff at the BMX track at Mike Cedar Park. And there'll be some more benches and shade and stuff for parents and kids. But the really, really nice thing about this, and the sheriffs will like to hear this too, the deputies, is that, you know, we've had a lot of kids on motorcycles cruising through that park. I've called a couple times too, and they're a booger to catch. So I went down there the other night when I was talking to these guys. I'm like, we can't put money into these parks just to have them vandalized and destroyed. And I'm like, take a look at that awning where you guys wait for the bus stop. And they looked over there and there's rocks all over the top of it. And I go, do you guys remember there was a windbreak on the basketball court? And they're like, yeah, the fabric was there for like 6 months. And I'm like, do you think we're going to would your parents put money into stuff that just gets destroyed? And they're like, well, no. I go, we can't justify this if it's not going to be taken care of. And I go, we're not your parents. The sheriff's not your parents. We don't want to be your parents, but you guys have to start advocating for yourselves with all your friends that you hang out with. And we were not a day later on a walk, and that kid came by on his motorcycle, and he turned around and came back real slow, and he pulled over and he's like, I'm really sorry for riding on the bike path. And he's like, I'll stay out of the park and I'll stay out of the path. And I'm like, those kids, like that group of kids, talked to him themselves. And I don't know what they threatened or how, and I don't care. But they accomplished more than I talked to that young man 2 or 3 times. Our maintenance guy, I mean, everybody has tried, you know, but those kids in and of themselves were able to get that young man to come apologize to me randomly on a walk when he recognized me. And that makes me very optimistic into making things nice for these younger kids so they have something to do instead of vandalizing things and doing stuff. So try to end on a really positive note. And I thought it's going to be awesome to have something for like the older kids up at that park. So the splash pad and stuff can be for younger ones, and just do something nice for those kids. And I wish Mr. Unaffiliated was still here, because there won't be a shelter for the bus stop, but there'll be a really cool bike track kind of thing. But anyway.
Fantastic. Anything else from council?
Yeah, I'm going to say something. I just wanted to speak to one of the things that got brought up multiple times, and that's it. 2 things can simultaneously be true at the same time. We have an unbelievably respectable and admirable sheriff's department. Our sheriff's office is absolutely incredible. That is true. It can also be true that what we need in our particular town, in this tiny little Mayberry, can also need its own enforcement. And so you guys had to, endure listening to a lot of things, and you guys were, the sheriff's office was a topic, and I just wanted to publicly, all of us, 2 things can equally be true. You do a phenomenal job for our county. Thank you. It can also be true that what we need in a very particular niche community can need its own force. And so we're very grateful for that. It's being served now in an interim position. So I just wanted to speak to that. I've been on council. This is my 3rd year, 3 years of working on MOUs and contracts, and trying to figure out what's the best route for our town. This precedes me, as Mayor Boyer said earlier. This was a conversation as I was sitting in the seats during Mayor Foyer's tenure. This is a solution that we've been trying to play out for the last several years. And so I'm grateful for your leadership in that. I'm grateful for what we have and where we're headed. And I just want to say, we're here. If you got questions, you recognize this is a hard place to get answers, right? There's a time limit, all that. We're available. Call, email, reach out. Happy to answer questions. I had several people come to me this week asking questions about the police department. I was able to have very productive conversations about those. I appreciate our residents doing that. So anyways, thank you to our sheriff's deputies. Thank you.
Yep. Any other council got anything else? No?
I'm good.
Good too. Pat, I wanted to ask you one question. The gentleman that talked about the referendum, he's left.
Kwasnicki,
I think. He was talking about a referendum. What is a process? How hard is that?
It's hard. And he referenced a variety of different topics there. Wyoming's law is generally not particularly favorable towards municipal referendums. The county is generally unwilling to participate in a limited municipal election. So generally, when you do something like that, you have to tie it to the general election, or you're in the situation of the town having to fitting the bill for the election process on its own. Initiative and referendum is generally geared towards statewide questions. so that the voters can enact legislation on a statewide basis. And the qualification of the electors and all of that is geared towards that. It is not impossible to put a limited question on a ballot, but the system has never been geared towards it. I mean, I can outline exactly what you'd have to do and have that available for you for the next town council meeting, but it's quite a process.
Yeah, if you could, I'd appreciate it just so we can.
Would it have to be on the next election ballot, or we could do it any time? I mean,
general,
barring the difficulty.
Well, so the thing is that if you want any ballot question, assuming you could get it on the ballot as a question, to be handled by the county, as elections generally are in Wyoming, that would have to be geared towards a general election. Now, there are occasions, particularly, most commonly with special district elections, that they're done outside of the normal time frame. But those are generally governed by the entities running them themselves. And, frankly, most towns, districts, et cetera, really aren't set up to run an election, because we depend on the county to run it for us. It's not impossible, but it's got to be correctly done.
Okay. All right, yeah, if you could just look into it.
I'll outline it and what you would have to do and what the options for that would be.
Thanks. We need to do a zoning work session again next Gary here. Gary, would zoning and planning be available next council session for a work session?
You should probably be able
Okay, let's plan on that. Say again.
to get a hold of everybody.
Thank you, sir. So is everybody available next council session?
Is there somebody doing the prep work for that prior to the meeting on the things that we needed from this last meeting? Do you know?
I can get with Ray on
it. That's the guy.
That's the guy. So, all right. So 6 o'clock, everyone.
I'll be zooming in, and then that, Lord willing, that will be my last.
Yes, sir. I'll be here.
Out of town one. I should be back and done.
You gonna be here? Not you, him.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, cool. 6 o'clock, be there, be square. I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
Move we adjourn.
Second.
Motion is second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all is in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?